Have you ever stopped to ponder why we commemorate International Women's Day on March 8th each year? It's not a date chosen at random, but a day steeped in history, struggle, and triumph. A day that serves as a reminder of the ongoing journey towards gender equality. It's a day when we celebrate the remarkable achievements of women from all walks of life, across every corner of the globe. But it's more than just a celebration. It's a call to action, an opportunity to acknowledge the challenges that women still face and recommit ourselves to the fight for equality. It's a day to raise our voices in unison, to echo the demands of those who came before us, and to pave the way for those who will come after. So why March 8th? What makes this day so special? Let's delve into the rich history behind International Women's Day. To understand the roots of International Women's Day, we must journey back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This was a time of great change and upheaval, a time when the world was rapidly industrializing and the social fabric was being rewoven. In the midst of this turmoil, a movement was stirring. Women who had long been marginalized and denied basic rights began to organize and demand equality. The suffragettes, as they would come to be known, were at the forefront of this movement. They were determined, they were relentless, and above all, they were courageous. Their fight was not just about securing the right to vote, it was about claiming a voice, a say in the society they were a part of. Around the same time, labor movements were gaining momentum across the globe. Workers, tired of long hours, poor conditions, and scant pay, were standing up and demanding better. And among these workers were countless women, often the most exploited and underpaid of all. Their participation in these movements was not just a struggle for better working conditions, but a broader battle for recognition and respect. These women, the suffragettes and the labor activists, were the pioneers of the women's rights movement. They faced ridicule, they faced opposition, they even faced imprisonment, but they never gave up. They believed in their cause, they believed in their rights, and they fought for them every step of the way. Through their struggles, they laid the groundwork for the women's rights movement. They showed the world that women are not just passive observers, but active participants in society. They challenged the status quo, they demanded change, and they made the world take notice. These early battles set the stage for what would later become International Women's Day, a day to honor the courage and determination of those early women's rights activists and to continue their fight for equality and justice. A day to remind us that the struggle for women's rights is not just a chapter in history, but an ongoing journey. The concept of an International Women's Day didn't emerge overnight. Rather, it was a culmination of years of struggle and determination by women across the world. One of the key milestones in this journey was the proposal of an International Women's Day by Clara Zetkin at the International Socialist Women's Conference in 1910. Clara Zetkin, a prominent German socialist and advocate for women's rights, recognized the need for a global day of recognition and action for women's rights. She had seen firsthand the struggles women faced, particularly working-class women, and believed that a united international show of solidarity could help drive change. At the conference, held in Copenhagen, Denmark, Zetkin proposed that every year, in every country, there should be a celebration on the same day, a Women's Day, to press for their demands. This proposal was met with unanimous approval by the conference of over 100 women, representing 17 countries. So, the very next year, in 1911, the first International Women's Day was celebrated. This was a significant step forward, as it marked the first official recognition of the need for gender equality on a global scale. The day was marked by rallies and demonstrations across Europe, with women demanding the right to vote and to hold public office, as well as protesting against employment discrimination. This early iteration of International Women's Day was a powerful demonstration of unity and determination. Women from different backgrounds, classes, and nations came together to demand their rights. It sent a clear message to the world. Women were no longer willing to be silent, to be overlooked, to be underrepresented. However, this initial victory was just the beginning of a long and arduous journey. The fight for women's rights was far from over, and it would take more than a day of celebration to bring about real, lasting change. But it was a tragic event that truly galvanized the need for an International Women's Day. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in 1911 was a turning point in labor rights and women's rights. It was a warm spring day in New York City when a horrific fire broke out at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. The factory was filled primarily with young women, many of them immigrants, who were toiling away under harsh conditions. Their dreams of a better life were tragically cut short when the fire consumed the factory, claiming the lives of over 140 workers. This disaster shook the nation, exposing the inhumane working conditions many women were subjected to. It was a wake-up call, a ghastly reminder of the dire need for labor reform and women's rights. The women who perished in the fire were victims not just of an accident, but of a system that devalued and exploited them. In the aftermath of the tragedy, there was a public outcry for change. People across the country rallied, demanding safer working conditions and fair treatment for women workers. The event sparked a series of investigations and legislative actions that led to significant improvements in workplace safety standards. But beyond the realm of labor rights, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire also had profound implications for women's rights. The women who died in the fire were not just workers, but mothers, daughters, and sisters. Their loss was deeply felt, and their sacrifice became a rallying cry for women everywhere. This tragedy served as a catalyst, galvanizing women to fight for their rights not just in the workplace, but in society as a whole. It was a stark reminder of the need for gender equality, for a world where women are not treated as second-class citizens. And so, in memory of the women who perished in the fire, and in recognition of the ongoing struggle for women's rights, the 8th of March was established as a day of remembrance and action. A day to honor the sacrifices made by women in the past, and to continue the fight for equality in the present. This tragic event marked a pivotal moment, cementing March 8th as a day for women worldwide. Today, International Women's Day is recognized and celebrated globally. It's a day that unites millions of people across the world, transcending borders, cultures, and languages. From small community gatherings to large-scale public marches and digital campaigns, the spirit of International Women's Day is felt everywhere. In our modern world, International Women's Day continues to be a powerful platform for progress. Each year, the day is marked with a theme, focusing on different aspects of gender equality. These themes have ranged from celebrating the past, planning for the future, to each for equal and choose to challenge. These themes don't just encapsulate the spirit of the times, they also serve as a call to action, challenging us to examine our own attitudes and behaviors, and to make a personal commitment to gender equality. International Women's Day is not just about celebrating women's achievements, but also about acknowledging the challenges that still exist. Despite the significant strides we've made, gender inequality continues to persist in many forms. Women still face barriers in education, employment, and political representation, to name just a few areas. Violence against women remains a global issue, and in many parts of the world, basic rights and freedoms are still denied to women. But the story doesn't end there. International Women's Day is also about hope. It's about the courage of those who continue to fight against gender inequality. It's about the resilience of women who overcome barriers every day. It's about the collective power of all those who believe in a world where gender equality is not just an ideal, but a reality. So, as we celebrate International Women's Day today, let's not forget its true essence. It's not just a day, but a movement. A movement that began over a century ago and continues to gain momentum. A movement that needs every one of us to keep pushing, keep fighting, and keep believing. As we honor the past, we also look to the future, continuing the fight for women's rights and equality. From its early beginnings to its present-day significance, International Women's Day holds a profound place in our history. We've journeyed through the pivotal moments that led to its inception, starting with the early stirrings of women's rights. The courage and tenacity of those early advocates set the stage for a global movement, culminating in the birth of International Women's Day. We've also delved into the tragic events that sparked global recognition, a somber reminder of the sacrifices made for progress. Today, International Women's Day serves as a beacon of hope and a symbol of resilience, a testament to the unwavering spirit of women worldwide. In reflecting on this journey, we recognize the significance of this day, not just as a celebration, but as a reminder of our collective responsibility to advocate for gender equality. As we celebrate each March 8th, we remember the struggles and triumphs that have brought us here, and look forward to a future of continued progress and equality.